All right, so good evening, everyone. Jose J. Garcia, real estate investor, coach, and mentor. As I was saying, live on Instagram here, and I don't have my TikTok at this time, but live on this Instagram and on Zoom, of course. Last Sunday coaching series for 2022. Man, 2022 went by quick. It went quick. And when you say, you're stuck sometimes in office, you're doing paperwork, your closings, documents, legalities, and it's like some days seem like they're dragging. But when you sit there and look at the calendar, the days, the weeks, the months, it's like, my goodness, where's 2022? But here's where we're at this time. So bottom line is, we got a lot of things coming up for 2023. A lot of visions, a lot of goals, a lot of things that are pre-planned, whether it's closings and a lot of these coachings that we're going to be doing, as I've been talking throughout these past few months, is we're going to double up, no doubt. As we're doubling up, we're going to be doing a lot more virtual, a lot more live for sure. My goal is to do everything live if I can. Obviously, that's impossible many times, and a lot of you that join us can't always join us in person, which is understandable. We got schedules, we got families, we got stuff going on, and we got a life that's happening. That's bottom line. But sitting here looking at my calendar, it is the last Sunday coaching of the year. But we got many more. We got many more for 2023. We got a lot more stuff we're going to be specializing in. Up until this point, it has been very much single mobile homes. We've incorporated the land package, which is land with mobile homes, and we've done quite a few deals ourselves that we've closed on. I love this privacy. That's privacy. When you think about how much there's a need for affordability housing, it is huge and growing. It is not going anywhere. But the thing is, a lot of people many times, they say, well, I'll leave an apartment. And many people question, will somebody really leave an apartment to go to a mobile home park? Yes, if you can sell it accordingly, if you can sell it correctly. There is still the stigma, which is not going anywhere, but I assure you that benefits you many times, that stigma being there, because, mobile homes, a lot of people think the mobile homes are getting very saturated. It is the next real estate. And at the end of the day, it is very much real estate, even though it's considered personal property. But I assure you, there's a lot of people that still don't know about mobile homes to this day. And that's where you get the idea of jumping in immediately and getting into it for a lot more people. But that being said, the stigma being there, it's just something you got to coach people through when you're selling them. When I talk to somebody who lives in an apartment, I tell them, it's really your choice, obviously. But do you really want to have, forever living however long you live there, somebody above you, somebody under you, somebody next to you? There's loud noise outside. There's, all kinds of banging. Maybe the neighbor has dogs. They had kids. Kids can be loud. I got kids, so I know. And it's like, when you leave an apartment to go to a mobile home, yes, it's a mobile home community, but you have your own mobile home. So what happens is, instead of you having somebody right above you, right under you, right beside you, now you have some space before the next mobile home is there. And depending on the condition of the community, obviously there's grades that we do, A, B, C, D, and, obviously the D's and C's, that's where it gets a little more questionable. It's the community, just that's where you typically see activities you rather not, you see. But something like an A minus, B plus, B minus, those are very nice communities that they have management. There is rules, regulations in place. Some even have HOAs. So, to have somebody coming in and doing drug activities or loud noise, those things don't exist. And that's, again, that is a stigma that a lot of mobile home communities have, but it's not necessarily always present. It just depends on where you invest. So when I'm trying to sell to somebody who lives in a mobile home in an apartment, it's always selling them by that part. Is, our community, here's what it offers, here's what you can expect, and here's our homes and basically walkthroughs, and anything you do with the mobile home, prepare to be coaching. I'm going to put it that way. Prepare to be coaching. And the topic I want to cover tonight is obviously getting into your first investment. So, but anybody you speak to, understand that mobile homes are still very alien to many people. When you say mobile homes, a lot of people are like, mobile homes. It's like a shocker, like, I didn't know that was a thing. This past week in itself, right before Christmas, I was speaking to a couple investors who were thinking about actually investing in a mobile home for themselves. More so, I guess, end buyer, if you will. They're going to invest in it, fix it up. They said, we understand, obviously, the numbers are lower, but we know how to do the work. But as I started talking to them and telling them, you can actually do this in multiplication. You can buy another one, fix it up the same way you're talking about, and rent it out. Maybe sell it, maybe flip it. And it just caught their attention, like, I didn't realize this was a thing. So again, it's all about coaching people. If you know about our closings, our documents, or due diligence, be prepared to coach if you're going into a DMV or tag and tax assessor's office. Why? Because most people there, and I say it respectfully, don't know what they're doing. When it comes to mobile homes, it's like, oh, it's this, and they'll pass you up to somebody. Or the worst is when they tell you, no, you can't do that. No, that's not how that's done. Knowing they don't know what they're talking about, so that's where I go with the whole spill of questions over here. Let me help you out. And I'm, very respectful how I approach them, of course, because, people can be defensive. Many times don't want to hear from somebody, but I tell them who I am, what I do, and hey, let's work on this together. Let me just show you this, what we do kind of thing. And it just checks out. I remember this one day, Warner Robins, Georgia, where I don't remember exactly what I went into the DMV tag accessor's office. I'm sure there was a title. When I go to these offices, it's not one thing I'm going in there. There's usually 10 or more things I'm going in to cover at one time. And I remember the first rep, she kind of just passed me up to the next one. So, I was just about to go to my lunch kind of thing, and just, which is fine. Passed me up to the next one. The next one kind of looked back at her like, really? And okay, so I knew what was going on. She didn't want to deal with me, probably didn't understand. I knew she didn't understand, and passed me up to the next one just to get rid of me, which is fine. But then the next one's like, well, now I got to deal with him kind of thing. And she just kind of started fumbling, roaming around, and just like, no, that's not how you do it. No. So, okay, come to a stop and go. Here's what it is. I've actually printed out a Q Public report from y'all, which is your system, by the way. Here is the actual parcel number. And again, think about credibility. When you know what you're talking about and you speak with confidence, people tend to listen. So that's what it took in that time. So once I got them to listen, the girl that passed me up, she kind of scooted over and she wanted to listen in as to what I was saying. I was explaining this is how you pull up mobile homes. Here's how you pull up their VINs, their serial, obviously serial ID number, same thing. Here's the make, here's the model, and basically here's how we do a due diligence. They were surprised, like, wow, we didn't know this here. And again, when it comes to mobile homes, this is why you cannot take a no from somebody who cannot give you a yes. Bottom line, when you go in there, be prepared to be coaching. But yes, that's that one day I spent almost an hour. I had about 7 reps in that corner. I was coaching them. I should have been charging them. That's what I should have started sending out little sign-in sheets that here you need to sign up for this coaching. But we learned next time around, easy peasy, and that's what happens. So always adding value. Let me jump into this coaching now. I know it is Christmas Day. I don't expect many people to join us tonight, which is fine. But again, I'm sitting here looking at my calendar and I'm seeing it is the last Sunday of 2023. I was thinking I had one more Sunday. I don't know why, but that's okay. 2023, we're going to have a lot more things to do with land. Land is something you need to get into. Land is, in this time of year, you're about to see a lot of people there are buying, but you're also about to see a lot of people that are selling. And unfortunately, this is about the time of year that we also start seeing a lot of evictions. Okay, so we're going to get into that. I do want to cover the above, but it's all about setting up yourself accordingly, being in the right place at the right time kind of thing. So, land, mobile home parks, this year we started strong with mobile home parks, reviewing them, doing due diligence, and they're out there. They're out there and they are for sale. But I've seen probably the past, probably 50 mobile home parks that we've done due diligence on. They're all overpriced. It is that time of market. I'll call it that, is the market the way that it is. I would say this time next year, we expect to see a lot of dropping in prices, that's when it's going to be the buyer's market, if you will, when it comes to mobile home parks. But what we can do at this time and have been doing is setting ourselves up accordingly. Build the relationship. You got to do it. Every buyer, every seller, you got to build the relationship. What means is that every other week, once a month, a quick little text to Philip, example. Philip, hey, I know we spoke a month ago and you were selling your park. The price that you're asking at this time is a little more than we can afford. Very respectfully, very polite, professional at all times, of course. But it's like, keep us in mind if you have any changes in thought in what we offered you, because we made offers, obviously, let us know. Just like that, just keep it at that. Very friendly. And again, anything I can do for you, let me know if we can help, because, the beauty of what we do, and for most investors to start like we did is, I started with 1. Then I went up to 10 that very first year. And from there, I've just multiplied more and more. And we do every exit strategy. But a lot of these park owners that don't want to sell yet, there's other services that we can offer them. Don't forget, we coach students and investors. I call them students. We coach investors. And what happens is a lot of these mobile homes that they have in their communities, because even though they may want to be sold, maybe they don't. And I don't think most want to sell. I think they're just overpricing it to see if somebody pays that, then they'll sell. But what happens is they have a lot of vacant pads. They have a lot of mobile homes in their parks that are distressed, meaning they're just sitting. They're costing them money, not making them money. Fine. You don't want to sell the park just here for this price. No harm, no foul. That's fine. But I noticed you have 10 empty pads. I noticed you have 5 mobile homes that are sitting. I would like to come in and invest in these mobile homes, maybe fill in these pads for you, maybe sell you mobile homes. Now, what that's going to happen is, you're already asking 1.02 mil for your park. You may be asking 1.04. I don't know. We'll just see what the value comes up. Adding value. That's all you're doing is adding value. So you always got to think about it like that. A lot of people like to take it personal. Had this one investor. He attended our shadow event, one of the summer shadow events that we have, and I'm going to talk about the shadow here in a few minutes as well. And I was asking him, it's like, he kept going back to this. I don't like to talk to part managers. I don't like to talk to part managers. And I asked him finally, I'm going to call him Jim. I said, Jim, why don't you like to talk to part managers? Do you not understand that there's only three types of sellers when it comes to mobile homes? You have a park owner, you have a park manager, and you have a direct seller. That could be somebody who lives in the mobile home or maybe another investor. I said, so you're knocking one out of the three. Why is that? Now, one thing to remember is it is not as easy to get a hold of the park owner as it is park management. And don't ever talk about past that. Reaching out to a park manager and saying, hey, connect me to the owner. That's a wrong no. That's a no. That's a way to get through bad terms. Park managers don't take that lightly. But anyway, he said, well, they tell me they don't need my help and they don't want investors. So whatever to them. I'll use that word, whatever to them. So I was like, well, here's a reminder to you. Okay. There's a lot of people out there trying to invest in mobile homes. Okay. There's a lot of people that everybody can invest, everybody can rehab, everybody knows this, everybody knows that, until it's time to get down to the nitty gritty and let's get down with it. What does that mean? It means show me what you can really do with the mobile home. A lot of these investors go in with this thought of mentality of I'm going to make millions and I'm going to flip them and I'm going to all this. And there's no thought in win-win or giving back whatsoever. Now, what happens with that is obviously you lack education. Okay. You don't know what you're really doing, but you're assuming. Assuming is a recipe to disaster. So what they go in there and think they can do this, they can do that. And when they start seeing these numbers adding up with expenses of rehab, material, holding, they're like, I don't want to do this anymore. And they up and leave. Now, when you think about a park manager or a park owner, both either or, and they give somebody an opportunity, they're an investor because these people tend to talk highly of themselves, which is fine. But when they go in and they talk all highly mighty about themselves and they come in and they fail, or they leave the park manager or owner in worse conditions, because if they buy that mobile home and they get a title, when they up and leave, they typically just leave and cut off the communication. So now that park owner or park manager does not have a title. And now they're kind of stuck with what do we do? Do we fix it? Do we chase them down? I mean, they're kind of stuck with that. So that gives them a bad vibe. Now, when another investor comes in and, hey, my name is, what do you think they're going to think? Not happening. No, absolutely not. And I've taken this. I've walked into many park management offices where they're like, absolutely, you can go on. We had one park management in Athens, Georgia. I'm going to say go Dogs, even though I don't watch football. Okay. I walked in and the manager, the lady was as friendly as you can think. I walked in, big old smile. Hey, how can we help you? As soon as I said my name and I said, I'm an investor, it was like the Grinch came out. You can get out of here. We don't need any more of y'all in our community. So I knew, and I knew not to take it personal because again, I knew somebody before me came in and kind of ruined it for everybody else. Now, persistence and follow up is key. What happens here is a lot of these park managers, if they don't allow you as an investor, they don't allow any investor. They rather let their homes burn, as they tell me, than before they allow another investor. So what happens is I followed up. Next week I called again. I said, hey, I know I tried to meet you and you said no investors, hang up. Okay. 2 weeks later, call again. Hey, I know you mentioned, and you just kind of keep on following up very professionally, not persistent where you aggravate them, but basically let them know, look, I know you probably had some bad experience with previous investors, but we're all different. And I like to, come in and take one of these mobile homes if you allow us to do the opportunity. If it does not work out, I'm happy to hand you back the title and no harm, no foul kind of thing and see how it works out. No, we're not going to work with you. And it just kept going to the point where finally they said, fine, okay, we got one that's in the corner, it's been there for a couple of years, nobody's touched it. You can come and check it out. That to me is opportunity. That is foot in the door. I got my foot in the door and I'm ready to go. So everything I say I'm going to do, I am going to do, and then some. As soon as we got done with that first one, I asked for a second one. You see, now they see me a little different. Okay, this guy may be all right. We don't check this site out. He seems to check out fine. And I do the second one. And then I do the third one. About half a year later, they were calling me. Hey, Jim, we got about 5 more mobile homes coming available. Hey, somebody, and they're not supposed to share this with you, but hey, so-and-so's probably going to be evicted. If you want to wait until they do, you can buy the home from us, or maybe you can go buy from directly. How did that happen? Persistence and follow-up is key. Okay, be professional. Get in there. Because when they don't allow any investor to come in and they finally say yes to you, do you think they're also going to allow other investors? Why? They don't need them. They got you. And that's why you cannot take it personally. And as I taught this investor, is you got to follow up kind of inside, oh yeah, I shouldn't take it personal. Went back to he's done business with parts that's told him no sense. So little things like that go a long way. But let me see, what time is this? 8:19. Time is trickling down quickly. So let me go through the list here and a couple announcements towards the end. This call is being recorded as always, so it will be posted on our social media, YouTube by first thing in the morning. So calling up mobile home park management, that is huge and that is a plus. Like I was mentioning at the beginning of this call, it is not only a lot of people looking for investments or looking to buy mobile homes because it is that perfect time of year. Perfect time of year means people have money, income tax time, so everybody wants to buy, but a lot of people are also selling. Now, what you're going to run into is a lot of people are getting uh, evicted. I'm going to go. They're getting evicted. That's unfortunate. And that's where you call in park management and basically, hey, my name is so and so. I'm an investor. This is what I do. I love to help y'all out. Make it about them and add value. You cannot make it all about you. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. You're not doing anything in our park. We see a lot of that investors coming in, and it's all about you, and nothing about them. Here's how I would put it: is why should they work with you and not another investors? Think about that one. But the fact that there's going to be a lot of evictions means a lot of opportunities for you all. A lot of times this time's a year, and we see this as an unfortunate. There is such thing as a slumlord, unfortunately. So what happens is a lot of people live in a lot of these mobile homes that they're kind of just dealing with it, living with them, because they cannot afford anything else. But they're about to vacate, or maybe they own an older mobile home. So now they're saying, well, now I have income tax time. I can buy something newer, something nicer. Maybe I like to buy something nicer, maybe in payments, but I also like to sell mine. So you see the opportunity, you get to sell and buy double, and we do that all the time. We may even take their mobile home as a down payment. It just depends on obviously the year, the make, the condition, and all these things I'm talking about. We coach you on, by the way. We coach you step by step. On January 28th, we got the first shadow of the year. It was scheduled to be a 2-day, but we got back-to-back events. So we're going to make it into a 1-day coaching. We're not going to have as many speakers coming into the event, which is fine because it allows us to cover more of our steps. And I'll go through all those steps in a few minutes as well. But it is a full day where we teach you how to talk to sellers, how to make offers, the maximum allowed offer, MAO. How do you know what the value of a mobile home is as is condition? That's a big mistake a lot of investors make is they get into this negotiating back and forth, not really knowing what the value is. Now, how do you negotiate or how do you buy anything that you do not know the real value of? It just shocks me, but they do. And that's the perfect way for you to overinvest. If you overinvest, you overpay for the mobile home, you are immediately setting yourself up for failure because now there is material, now there is rehab, now there is holding, utilities, insurance, and the list starts adding up as I mentioned as investors. As now you're making poor obviously decisions because you're trying to cram up everything to hopefully save a deal. But January 28th, we will be down in Central Georgia. That'll be a live event, 1-day event. Now, I have added the links on here. So if anybody's interested, definitely hit the links and you can join us on that. But caller management, that's definitely a number one. Don't forget social media, branding, marketing, and advertisement. And that is the first topic that we coach you at the Shadow event is how to advertise accordingly. You have to be posting and you have to be doing it consistently. You cannot post an ad today and wait for 2-3 weeks and maybe post another one and a couple of days go by. That's not consistent. We post on social media every day. Craigslist, Let Go, OfferUp, Classified, Facebook Marketplace. Okay, all these you got to post. And I'm not talking about one ad. I may jump on Facebook here in a few minutes and I'm doing 20, 30 group pages. So it's all depending on how you're buying or you're selling because that's the best way for you to buy and sell. If you're looking for your first deal, before you do, you should be looking for buyers. You understand? That is the Apple method way in is to have a buyer first and then the product. A lot of people, a lot of investors get in and I want to invest in this one and that one, and they will, and that's fine. But what happens is when it's time to sell, now you're in a hurry. You understand? And that's how you make mistakes is you start getting into this hurry. So if you look for buyers, and that's a perfect way to study the markets. Let's say I want to invest in a new city, in a new county. I've never invested in those. So what I want to do before I look for inventory is why don't I blast some social media ads? I will have a couple mobile homes to move in ready in the next couple months. Who's buying? Who's renting? Who's interested? You see what I just did? Now you're going to have a list of people asking, hey, send me pictures. Hey, how much you're charging? How much they cost? You don't have the product yet, but you're fine because now you know how much people are actually in need. And that's what you're trying to figure out. Once you figure that out, you realize, okay, it's a good market. Now I can go and look for the product, not the other way around. Then after that, obviously you want to educate yourself. I, I started with no education when it came to, and I say that was for me that worked out because I obviously got in and kind of in a hurry, just figured it out as I went along. But I would say, with so many videos online right now, with so many YouTube, so many TikToks, and so many coach and mentors, me being one myself, it's like figure out as much as you can, but don't hinder yourself by procrastination. You cannot sit on the sideline trying to figure out every little thing, every little step, because you're never going to. You're never going to figure out everything by sitting there waiting, thinking that you're going to be fully ready. It's not going to happen. So just kind of keep that in mind. But do try to figure out as much as you can to whatever exit strategy you're thinking on. Then you want to get into contractors. Oh man, I can have, let me see, almost 5 contractors I fired in the month of November. December was better for us. We got some better crews, but contractors, those can be, and if you've been in this business long enough, if you've invested in real estate or mobile homes, you know what I'm talking about. Contractors, those are special. Those are special to deal with, and it's something that you need to definitely know how to interview. Number one, you have to know how to interview. You need to know how to hold accountable. That's number two. And you have to know how to pay. That's number three. If you fail to do any of those, you are in for a headache, some stress, and then some. Bottom line, because a lot of these contractors, unfortunately, they like to talk big and bad like they do. They like to say they can do this, they can do that, and most of them don't even show up to work on time or show up, period. A lot of them, I don't even know that I've hired because they never really showed up after their interview. It is shocker how that works out, but it's part of it. So you need to learn that as well. Okay. Doing due diligence, exit strategies, conducting, obviously, the due diligence is huge because that is the legality side of mobile home investing. Okay. Taxes, liens, any past due tag, even when it comes to the lot rent, there's liens that a lot of park managements can't put on the mobile homes itself. But if you're a new buyer, it's just preferred that you call the park management and ask them, is there any past due lot rents at this time? Obviously start with the clean slate and figure out that, anything that's past due is going to be on your hands if you do not take care of it during the negotiation. So you have to do that during due diligence. But closings, when it comes to the titles, obviously checking. Now, this year, we've done more bond titles than any other year. I lost count how many bond titles. We were around 60 bond titles at this time at one point, and we just kept going more and more. A lot of these mobile homes, what's happening is, more people getting into mobile homes is obviously bringing more eyes into. So now you got DOT looking at it. Now you got the tag office, DMVs. You got it's a lot of this looking into that now they're really strictening the rules and regulations. You used to be able to move a mobile home with no title if you could get a title at the county where it was going. There are some cities that didn't even really need a title if you could still bring a bill of sale and get it certified and registered. Not allowed it anymore. So what happens is you need a title at this point. A lot of these people who are selling a mobile home and have no title, basically they cannot sell because they don't know what to do. Now, we had our first title solutions call about 2 months ago, and that was, it was filled with the park management. And it was all about how to verify the bins inside the mobile homes, how to do bond titles, how to get title replacements, because bottom line is they are needed. And in all reality, if somebody's trying to sell you a mobile home and does not have a title, if you do not know the process, stay with it. The bottom line is stay away. There's too many gray areas there. It could be stuck at some bank. Somebody owns a loan on it. There could be some liens. You don't want to get yourself involved in something that you do not know. So that's something that obviously you need to figure out as well. And then multiplying deals. You start out with one. I started out with one rental. By that first year, I had done 10 different rentals. I was officially a landlord, which it only takes one, by the way. Second year, I started doing lease options, rent to owns. Then I was flipping them. Then I was wholesaling them. Then I was moving them. Then we started with the whole Airbnbs, Section 8s, veteran assistance. And those are 3 of what I presented last year as exit strategies. Don't forget, January 1st, 2023, I'm going to be presenting 3 new exit strategies. Okay, more and more exit strategies within mobile homes. So just so many things that you can do and not limit yourself as I'm just a wholesaler. You never want to do that. You don't ever want to leave money on the table or limit yourself because you're stuck on this one-way kind of thing. There's too many ways to make passive income when it comes to mobile homes. So next Tuesday, let me talk about announcements because we are trickling to 8:30. I'm going to have to maybe go to 45 minutes on these calls again. So, but next Tuesday, Tuesday coming up, it's Let's Do Deals. Don't forget all these I'm talking about deals and best off market deals, mobile homes. come on our Tuesday call. I'll be live here on Instagram where we pitch the best off-market deals and you can invest immediately. If you're a GMHU student, you obviously get first dibs. But if you're an investor, we do have investments, mobile homes, and communities that welcome investors, that welcome multiple exit strategies. So it's not something you have to come in and say, well, maybe the farm management doesn't allow me to do this, doesn't allow me to do that. You come in with our credibility because the deals are already on our spreadsheet. That's a big win for you all. We eliminate a lot of time wasted. Next Saturday morning, that's going to be nice. Every Saturday morning at 10 a.m., we go live on here on Instagram, on TikTok, and Zoom will be available again next Saturday. But that's where we do a catch up for the week, almost like a recap. What we also do is we've had podcasts on Saturdays and we announce any deals, any coaches coming, maybe anything we're struggling with. It's all about adding value. You know, I have ventured into a new investment. It is very much outside of mobile homes. It has nothing to do with mobile homes, but it's going to have a lot of relation to mobile homes because I want to make sure of that. And what's going to happen is I'm going to be able to do a lot of my coachings, a lot of my events, a lot of what I do in coaching with investors and students at this location. So next Saturday morning, that's all the details I'm going to give on that. Next Saturday morning at 10 a.m., I will be live at this new investment location. I want y'all to join me, okay? Be there. It's free. It's on Instagram. And I will be coming live and talking about that. And we'll talk about our investment as well, okay? Saturday, that same evening, that's going to be December 31st at 11 p.m. We will go live at the same investment location, which y'all know what it is at that point. And we're going to go live from 11 p.m. to 12:30 midnight, 12:30 a.m. So you get to celebrate the New Year 2023 countdown with us if you so choose. We're going to be live on Instagram. We're going to be live on TikTok. We're going to be live on Facebook, YouTube, Zoom. So plenty of places for you to catch us. And again, stay up to date with our social media. GarciaMHU.com. You can click on any of our social media and you're able to see events coming up. Like I mentioned earlier, the shadow, the first shadow of the year, January 28th. Do not miss out. The link is posted on here. The link will be posted on the YouTube as well. Join us. That is a full day of coaching, back-to-back mobile home investing. If you're new or looking for your next deal, that's something for you. Join us on there. Check out our links, and you can definitely, there's limited seats, so don't forget. I think we're accepting around 20, 25 seats for that one, so it's definitely very limited. You want to get your seat immediately. So that is all for this evening. That is the last Sunday concludes of coaching series for 2022. I will go live next Sunday, but it'll be the first one for 2023. We'll pick a topic and maybe a Q&A. Y'all give me some ideas, send me some questions, and we'll be sure to cover all the above. All right. Well, thank you all for joining me this Sunday, and happy Merry Christmas.